All righty, thank you for tuning in to yet another lesson by Klassik King here, your coach. Now, in this lesson, lesson number 5, we're going to talk about healthy lifestyles. Now, to be perfectly candid, there's things that I'm not good at when it comes to healthy lifestyles. So, everything that I'm going to talk about is pretty much just a basis of what you and I can work on. Um, Nobody is perfect, 100% perfect on living a healthy lifestyle. Um, there's usually always at least one thing, one or two things that we struggle with. Unless you're a monk or a nun that totally, takes themselves outside of the normal society, you know. And even those people, I'm sure they have their things that they, need to work on themselves. But, you know, this is meant just to educate, by no way, shape, or form. Um, am I perfect at everything? Some of the things that I'll talk about, I will actually touch on if it's something that I'm not good at. And I think one of the best things about being a teacher or a coach or even a guidance counselor, whatever any of the sorts, is that some people are able to teach because either they've been through it or they're going through it. How can you truly know what it's like if you haven't been through it or if you haven't gone through it? You know, that's like, let's say, a heartbreak. You know, if someone never really been through a heartbreak in life, they could talk about it. But as far as teaching it in a way that they themselves comprehend and understand not only the educational aspects behind it or the knowledge or the information behind it, but the feeling and the emotion and the effects on their own life and how it took place and how it played out in their lives. Okay. That's when, for instance, like another thing, high school teachers or elementary school teachers, preferably probably more so high school teachers, if they were pros or the best at that subject or or they could actually work that subject as a career, you know, some are just good at teaching it. You could be a science teacher, but you may not really be good at the science part. you know some other professions, like English teachers is a little different because it's like you got to know English and the proper grammar and all of that comes with it. um but some people are better teachers than they are actually doing it themselves, and that's okay. All right, that's okay. We all got to have teachers, right? Teachers are the most important in life, because if we didn't have teachers, what would we know? How would we know? You know, these are the people that are placed in society to help us grow, to help us learn, to help us elevate, and to help us see things maybe that we don't see. All righty. All righty. First things first. Number one, with living healthy lifestyles. Living a healthy lifestyle starts with self-worth and dignity. All right. Self-love and respect for yourself. Okay, that is most important. You know, a lot of people in society nowadays are suffering from that lack of self-love. All right. You must first have value for yourself, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. All right. There's been times in my life where I could say, I love myself, but sometimes maybe the way that I treat myself by the actions or the lack of thereof clearly would show a value that I have of my own self, and even though we may have high values for ourselves, there may be other things that might be hindering us from, elevating or moving on or bringing out the best in ourselves. All right. All right. There is such thing as healthy narcissism. Okay. There's always a good and bad thing to everything. There's always opposites, polarity, duality. All right. Now, healthy narcissism brings love and respect for oneself, establishing a belief system in which you realize your own uniqueness. Okay. That promotes the idea that you have something special to contribute to the world. All right. There's a quote that I like. It says, just be yourself. Everyone else is already taken. And that's real. Everyone else is already taken. So you might as well be yourself. That's the that's the greatest thing you can give to this world because there ain't nothing like you. All right. People can emulate, imitate, speculate, but they'll never be able to be you, exactly you. All right. So value that aspect in yourself that there's nobody else created in the world exactly like you. All right. Having this mindset will help you access, I'm sorry, having this mindset will help you across various aspects of your life. Okay, when you have value for yourself, you respect yourself, you have dignity, and you have self-love, that will go far in all aspects of your life. Not to say that life will be easy, but as far as you doing what you need to do to bring out the best in you, if you keep those aspects within inside yourself and always value yourself, hopefully that will allow you to make the best decisions in life. All right. Number two, establish what your good habits are and what are your bad habits. Okay. We all have good habits, we all have bad habits. No one is perfect. Your good habits should promote healthy living and keep you on the path to reach your goals. Okay. Good habits should most times make you feel good or at least proud of yourself for choosing those good decisions. Okay. Remember that good habits typically feel good. All right. Not to say that bad habits don't feel good, but good habits for the most part, will have you feeling good about yourself that you made that positive decision. Your bad habits tend to go against having a healthy lifestyle. Okay. Bad habits are usually easier to fall into than making good decisions. It's always easy to make the wrong decision. It's always easy to make the bad decision. That's just the way life is. Until you build up a habit of making good decisions. Um, Not to say that just because you have a habit of making good decisions, you won't make bad ones. But it more so comes down to habits. Decisions kind of they play out the way they play out. You may think it's good, but it might have turned out to be a bad decision. But as far as a bad habit, um, bad habits are easier to fall into. It's way easier for you to not go to the gym than to push yourself to go to the gym, right? It's so easier for you to do something versus not do something if it's a bad habit. All right. Bad habits can inhibit you from obtaining your goals or produce negative energy into your life. Okay, it starts to accumulate those bad habits, that energy just starts to accumulate and accumulate and accumulate and accumulate. And it's not to say that, hey, we can't enjoy our bad habits, but there's also got to be a balance. We got to have I think we should have more good habits than we have bad habits. All right. Um, I don't think it's wrong to say that it's more positive to have more good habits than bad habits because we're always going to have something that we fall short on, a habit, you know. It could be anything. It could be the smallest thing, the biggest thing. Um, a habit is a habit. To each their own, all right? Creating and breaking habits take time and consistency. They usually say, what, 21 days to make or break a habit. All right, you got to be consistent at it. For some people, maybe more than that, man. I learned in my life, 21 days. For some things, 21 days, man, that's not enough time. You know, sometimes I need to give myself more time to break a habit or to make one. You know, but it also starts with the mindset too and the will. Give yourself grace in the process, okay? Give yourself grace, meaning you're not going to be perfect. You may stumble, you may fall short, all righty? But always remain positive and determined, okay? Let's say you break your consistency streak. That's all right. Just know and recognize the mistake. Keep going, all right? Keep going until we start that new habit becomes second nature or that bad habit just just drops totally. Okay. Number three, evaluate the people in your life. I'm writing. You cannot pick the family you are born into, but you can choose your friends or people you associate yourselves with. All right. Not everybody that smiles is a friend. Not everything that glitters is gold. Okay. Always remember that. With that being said, still evaluate your family and how they may affect your life positively or negatively. All right. Because sometimes it be family that be our biggest issue in our lives. You know, it bees like that. You know, it is what it is. All right. There's a philosophy about how we come into this world that we're born into a family, but our spiritual family is that of another entity. Okay. Meaning, like sometimes for a lot of us, we feel closer to our friends than we do a family member. You know, blood ain't always thicker than water. You feel me? So, and, blood ain't always family, and family ain't always blood. You know, um, your spiritual family, your soul group, meaning the group or the team or the spiritual organization, or your soul, um, your the energy that your soul recognizes, you will naturally pull to and gravitate towards. Okay, and that's your soul group. All right, that's the family that you make, not the family that you're born into. All right. Most of the time, family dynamics play a vital role in our young lives. All right. Usually, family is the first representation of love, joy, pain, hurt, abuse, neglect. Family is our first like representation of the world almost, and that family at a young age, and as you develop in life as a child to a teen to a young adult, even as an adult, family can still play a vital role in shaping your reality. So be careful of that, alrighty? Because not all, like I said, not all of our family has our best interests. Not all parents or even siblings are open or willing make to make the home environment more healthy. Okay, you may be willing to have a good healthy living when it comes to being home. Unfortunately, not every family member is going to feel like that or going to be willing to do that. So sometimes that's why if you have your own room, make that your sanctuary, right? Even so, still make the attempt to approach your family about your concerns. If you don't have progress, then try and focus on you to continue living and making decisions that's going to lead you on the path that you want to be in life, okay? And once you have the ability to leave home, you can go ahead and do your own thing. All right. So now, over time, if you're still living with your family, over time, still make attempts to approach your family to establish better or healthier family lifestyles or dynamics. Okay. So just because last year your family wasn't open to change or to do better, hey, we're always learning, we're always growing, hopefully. That's what we're supposed to do in life. You know, it may not sometimes seem like we're growing or changing or evolving, but trust me, we should always be constantly evolving, even if we're crawling. Alrighty. So just because last year your family wasn't interested in making change, positive change, doesn't mean that they won't be this year or the next year. All right. So always, try to, do that. Make an attempt. Now, if they're just so set on, especially like parents and grandparents, a lot of them are set in their ways. So sometimes, it just, what they say, beating a dead horse, just let it go. Love them for let them, but live the life that makes you happy, regardless of whether they like it or not. Okay. You didn't come on this earth to please other people or to live a life based upon somebody else's happiness. All right. Now, when it comes to friends, this area is very important as they tend to have the most influence on you. Okay. Your friends should align with your values for the most part. Remember, just like you are an individual, so is everyone else. Therefore, you shouldn't expect your friends to be exactly like you. Now, of course, friends, associates, the people you hang around with, we have common interests, maybe listen to the same music, same type of style. We have some similar interests, right? But not everyone in your friends group is going to be exactly alike. Should be exactly uniformed. Okay. Your friends should be a positive force in your life that you feel you can always be yourself around. Okay. Friends might offer support where family may fail to do in certain times. Okay. That's what friends are for, to offer support when our family, doesn't have that same outlook that we may have that our friend may be able to connect with. All right. Friends should be an asset to your life and your ambitions. Okay. Doesn't mean necessarily monetary, meaning financially. Um, one way or another, your friend should always be an asset, meaning he should always be bringing something importance into your life that you value. That's why you made them your friend, because you value them. Okay. Be careful of any negative influence friends may bring. Just because someone doesn't look like you, come from a different religion or culture, does not mean you cannot befriend them. All right. Me personally, I got all types of friends, man. All different types of backgrounds, race, creed, culture, religion, um, ethnicity, um, economic status. All right. I don't discriminate. If I vibe with you, I vibe with you. It is what it is. If I don't, I don't. You know? So never limit yourself to just people that you place a box around and you fit yourself in that box. All right, explore. You never know what uh person you may come across or befriend that could actually give you some knowledge or elevate you to a new level in which you've been trying to get on in your life. Okay. So always keep that in mind that people can always help you from all different walks of life. They can be an asset to you. Okay. Keep in mind, people change over time, just like you. We all change. People change. It's the nature of life. Just like seasons change, people change. That's okay. We may like something last year that we're not into this year, and that's okay. You know, but we should always um be careful of that, alrighty? Because the same friend you first met may not be the same person over time. You know, it is what it is. You might have been drawn together because of a certain frequency or energy, and sometimes what happens is our paths come, they merge together for however long, could be a month, 2 months, a year, 2 years, you know? And then all of a sudden, the next day, the next week, the next month, the next year, you just slowly just start drifting off on two different paths. That's life. I've met a lot of people. I've met a lot of people that came and went out of my life. They stayed in my life for different lengths of time. But one thing I can say, they all had a place in my life. They all had a place in my path, whether it was for me to learn something, whether it was for me to teach them something, um, or just to share the same energy. But I'm never sorry for anybody that I lost in life. You know, Mm, I take that back. Maybe I could point out a few, less than five people though, or maybe five people. But it's not too many people that I'm like hurt over that I lost or that we went our separate ways or because that's just life. That's life. They had their path, I had my path. We enjoyed the time that we had together, the experiences that we had together. And you dig me? And that's just life. I have homies, and especially when I was, a little younger, enjoy life. You know what I mean? Like we really enjoyed life. We really enjoyed life. Um, just really enjoyed life, man. Um, yeah, man. Just really enjoyed life. And one way or another, we just, drift apart. And that don't mean that anything went wrong. It doesn't mean that anything went south in the energy or the relationship or anything. It's just, you know, as you young adults start to grow older, you find people that you love and want to settle down with, you're naturally going to lose friends because you're going to be drawn into the energy of building your family. And naturally, that's where your attention is going to go to. Okay. And some people that's what happens. Get a family, your attention goes to that family. You trying to build something for yourself. And that's okay. I ain't even mad at that split. Go ahead, do you, bro. Go take care of your woman. Go take care of your kids. Handle your business. I'd rather a relationship be split apart because of that than off of something stupid. Nah, man. Yeah. If we can't hang out or chill or have the same adventures and, fun times that we used to, because now, you got a woman, that you really want to have a life with and start something beautiful with, man, I endorse that totally, bro. Go ahead, be happy, man. Be happy. I'm one of those friends that's like, I don't care if we haven't spoken in 5 years. Just know your number's still saved in my phone. So if you call me, text me, I'll be there. You know what I mean? If you need something, I'm gonna be there. I'm not one of those, oh, it's been 5 years since we hung out. It's been 5 years since we talked. What do you want? That's not me, man. It's not me. Things happen in life. I'm gonna always be there for all my folks. Unless there's a specific reason why um that relationship went south or why, I chose to just totally did the relationship and just not even um be subjected to any of your energy. Other than that, yeah, man, I'm one of those people you can call me after 10 years and not speaking. What you need, man? I got you. If I got it, you got it. Point blank. Point blank. All right, let's get back on track. All right, always be mindful of these changes in people so that you don't make possible negative changes that may be mirroring their behaviors. So what that means is sometimes as people change, especially our friends or close ones, um, we may change with them, and that may not be a positive thing. You know, if you have a friend that starts gambling, and you've never been a gambler in your life, and they start bringing you along, now you start gambling. You know what I mean? So you gotta be careful of the changes that affect people that could affect you, but it could be positive changes, man. There's people in my life that came into my life that I've developed positive habits or made a positive change because of who they were or a positive change that they made in their life. Okay, that helped push me to make, a positive change. So change isn't always a bad thing. Change can be beautiful. Change can be good. All right. You just got to have discernment, meaning you got to recognize the good from the bad. All right. What's positive and what's negative for you in your life. And and what may be positive for somebody else doesn't necessarily mean it's good for you. So you just gotta be honest with yourself and what you want and what you need in life. All right. All right. And the same goes to you. You may grow out of friendships that may not be serving you. All righty. And know that this is okay. As we learn and go through life, we grow away or towards different paths. Many friends may come and go in or towards, I'm sorry, many friends may come and go in your life. Understand that this is a part of life. It's part of life. All right. Things come, things go. Those meant to be in your life will stay in your life. Or if they don't stay in your life, what happens is you may spend the path together. That path may split for a while. You guys go your separate ways. But if it was really meant to be, and that energy was really meant for you guys to experience one another again, those paths will meet again. All right. So never be sorry for loss or never be sorry for, somebody else taking a different path than you. One of the biggest things are even breakups, like relationships, intimate relationships. All right. You may have to break up with somebody. You may have to go through, you know, something with somebody as far as intimate relationship. Y'all go your own separate paths. And then for some reason, later on in life, something just draws you back together to each other. And most of the time, I could say that usually the second time around is usually better. The second time around is usually sweeter because you done the first time around, you done experienced each other, whether it was y'all both hurt each other, y'all know each other, y'all know what went wrong, who did what, so if it comes back around, that means your heart is still in it. All right. That means you're willing to put your differences aside to try to make things right again. All right. So usually the second time around is usually sweeter. Never limit yourself to just experiencing somebody just one time. Just because something doesn't work out the first time doesn't mean that if you guys get back together the second time that it won't work out. Sometimes y'all may need that break apart, like just to figure out some things. Shoot. I know for myself in life, I definitely needed some time apart away from people to figure out some things, you know? Um, yeah, and I know if if it ever comes back around, if I have a second chance at it, I know for certain the changes I will make and how much of a higher value I will have on that relationship, you know? Um, so not all paths that split apart are meant to stay split apart. Sometimes we split apart just to come back even stronger. All right. And like I said, it's usually that second time back is usually the best. All right. So appreciate the time you have and share with people you come across in your life. All right. So number four. All right. Here's one that I've been struggling with. I've been making little better changes over the past several years, little changes, but I've fallen back a little bit on this one, on this healthy lifestyle. Practice good eating habits and exercise. Now, I'm naturally fit. I'm naturally just as athletic. Um, I'm just naturally um just gifted with just being able to eat what I want and not gain too much weight or anything. That's not to say that if as I get older, things won't change because even at my age now, I'm still young. I'm a young elder, young OG. But even at my young age right now, I be feeling it. I'll be feeling some things. I'll be feeling some things. I was like, all right, we got to recognize that our bodies change over time. Our bodies won't be that young whippersnapper. You won't always be 18. You won't always be 21. You won't always be 25. You won't always be 13. Your body's going to change. Your body's going to change. All right. And you gotta be able to adjust with it. All right. And sometimes if you get ahead of the ball by having healthy lifestyles, you can prevent a lot of things in life. All right. Eating well and being physically active are great ways to healthy bodies and minds. Not everyone may have the luxury or support to eat healthy every day, but we all can be physically active in some shape or form. Okay. We all had the ability to be physically active unless you're have some type of disability, but even with that, even if you're wheelchair bound or whatnot, you can still use your arms, lift weights, or if you're in a wheelchair, go for walks. You can still some exercise that you can do even if you know you're disabled in some form. All right. Eating healthy will allow you to have a body that functions the way you need it to. Um, Pay attention to any health conditions that you are aware of. Yeah, I know over the past several years, since my eating habits have been shaky, a little rocky, I've developed some things in my body. It's like, oh man, I definitely gotta tighten up on some things. All right. Your body will let you know when something is wrong, something is out of order or out of balance. You know, your body's there to 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 be an indicator that when something is going wrong with you internally, like if you feel a pain somewhere, if rashes, bumps, bruises that you don't know where they came from, skin irritations, anything, all starts internally. Internally. All right. Exercise doesn't have to be intense. Like you don't have to be pumping iron every single day. You don't have to be that gym rat. You don't have to be that marathon runner. but some form of physical exercise is healthy. Okay. Especially as you may, if you're under the age of 18, your workouts definitely don't need to be intense because you're only going to stunt your growth in some ways. You know, don't don't work out like you're Arnold Schwarzenegger at 25 years old. When you're only 13, even 17. Don't do that to yourself. Stay active, stay fit, um, but don't overdo it. All right. Be sure to do something that allows you to increase your heart rate. Right? That's always a good thing to have your heart be able to pump faster. All right. Calisthenics are good exercises for young people. Like if you can't go outside or whatnot, calisthenics, push-ups, sit-ups, jumping jacks, simple things like that. Doing something in the house like that. There's always something that you can be doing. Now, personally, I myself, I'm not really a gym person. I like exercising naturally. Like for instance, I enjoy exercising in nature. Like I'll go and maybe do some pull-ups on a tree, or I just like being in nature, exercising. I really don't like being confined to a building or an enclosure, you know, seeing sweaty people, smelly. No, I like to be outside in nature with the fresh air, and just be connected like that. All right. Number five, be careful for your media intake. This is a big one today's society. This means television, computer, phone, gaming, music, and other intake. What we see and hear on a daily basis all have an effect on your mental and spirit and emotional being. Negative influence are all around us and they are constant, and we must be aware of this. Negativity is always flowing. Unless you're deep in the woods by yourself, living a life of solitude, you live in a farm, um, a homestead, you're good. But even still, you can still be subjected to the phone and TV and some type of intake like that. But always keep in mind that if you live in the suburbs or the city or close to it, or you have a busy lifestyle, you have a busy work, there's always negativity around it. So we always must be aware of this. All right. For example, social media intake can be bad for us. And it, for the most part, is. All right. It can influence us to do things we don't want or wouldn't do. Okay. For example, in my own life, started to realize or recognize that I started to get a little bit, uh, I got a little anger growing inside of me from all uh, the killings of, Black people, African people, melanated people, colored people, constantly seeing this on social media, constantly just hearing about it, plays a part on, emotionally seeing people and hearing people that look like me, that may come from an environment that I, was born into, um, always getting killed or abused. That stuff starts to really, play on you, you know. It can cause us to experience mental disorders or emotional disorders such as depression, anger, anxiety, fear, ADD, or other things. Um, Anger, anxiety, and fear are definitely um, things that social media, the TV, propaganda is meant to breed us in. Like they breed fear in people. It's always some type of fear agenda. the type of music you listen to constantly can also affect you greatly. You know, I know if you're in tune with what's been going on about, music like hip hop and the rap culture, how, a lot of us are just wanting to elevate off, the negative energy that's been plaguing our community for a long while now. We want to do things a little differently, so that way we could be seen in a different light. So that way, when people see people like me on the street, Black people, melanated people, people of color, that they won't automatically have a stereo type embedded in their mind about what we are because they listen to a rap song, and not anybody with a baseball cap on or a do rag on or sagging their pants and they got J's on, a jersey on, whatever. They 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 look like a thug or they have a ghetto uh, um, persona about them that they're bad people. You know, so to be honest with you, some of the greatest people I know, other people consider thugs or ghetto. I'd rather hang around thugs and ghetto people all day. If I hang around a corporate person, you know, that's just me. That's just me. Um, Hearing and seeing low vibration, hearing, feeling, seeing low vibrations or negative or negativity on a constant basis can open you up for bad energy to enter your life. All right, I'm not gonna get too much into it, but us as human beings, we are programmable biological creatures. You know, like a robot can be programmed, like a computer can be programmed. Um, our body is made up of biological programming. If you're interested, look up on that. That might give you some more insight on, us human beings, and what makes us us, and how they manipulate us. They meaning like the media, the world elite. So, I'm not gonna get too much into that, but all that. Um, what may seem cool today can hurt you tomorrow. Okay. Your eyes and ears lead to your brain. So, for instance, when you eat food, right? When you put food in your mouth, it goes to your stomach. Okay. And then whatever nutrients from that or lack thereof goes to the rest of your body, right? Think of media intake, whether it's through your eyes or your ears. Alrighty. All that is food for your brain. If you're constantly feeding your brain negative energy, what do you think your brain is going to start to produce? All right. So we got to be very mindful of that, that everything that we look into, everything that goes into our ears is food for our brain, is food for our mental being. All righty. There's things even that I got to work on some things. All right. I fell back from a lot, but there's still things that I could work on. All right. All right. Number six, set time for yourself. Set time for yourself. Having time to be alone is very important. If you already spend time alone, then try to do the opposite. Like if you're already somebody that is alone, can be considered a loner, or if that's something that's you've already been doing, then try to do the opposite. Okay. Still keep um the aspect of your life to where you like being alone, but try to do the opposite. But this is for probably majority of the people. Um, a lot of people are afraid of being alone. I'm afraid of being by themselves. This is one aspect of my life that I've been very, very grateful that I've learned to cultivate early on in life, that I very much can enjoy my own space. I cultivated that energy at a very young age, against my will, kind of. Not gonna get into that. But as an adult and as I've gotten older, I learned the value, the importance of my own space, being in my own energy, being in my own world, setting that time and space for myself. Alrighty. Having a long time to be quiet and meditate can help with stress and help you sort things out that might be going on in your life. Okay. If you have too much noise going on in your head, sometimes you just need to back away, seclude yourself so that way you could silence your mind and you could work those things out. Okay. Me, um, I'm a philosopher. I love philosophy, and I've been naturally kind of doing that since a young age. And if anybody knows anything about what it's like about being a philosopher or having that type of mindset, you know that we're always constantly thinking that there's always there's always something on our mind. There's always something that we're contemplating. We're always pondering the universe. That's one thing about a philosopher is that we're always thinking. We're always um expanding our minds to new things. But you got to be careful with that. All right, you got to be careful with uh, having too much of an open mind. All right. A lot of people have constant stimulation throughout the day that cause their brains or minds to be busy. Allowing our minds to settle down can help us greatly. If you're busy, if you're if you are a busy young adult, take time to do something that you enjoy by yourself. Okay. Don't get caught up with life too much that you miss doing the things that make you happy, especially being young. Listen, one of the number one things that I've always heard um growing up coming from my elders or those older than me, they always say, young man, enjoy your life. Enjoy being young. Enjoy being a child. Enjoy being a teenager. Because you have more adult years than you do a child years or teenage years. All right. So enjoy those years. Don't try to grow up too fast. You know what I mean? We got more years of being an adult, hopefully, than we do being a teenager or a child. All righty. So love the life that you're in right now. Love the world that you're in right now. Love the world as you know it, before you get into the real world. If you haven't been succumbed, I mean not succumbed, if you haven't been subjected um to what the real world is. Some young people have um had that education in their life, real life education at a young age. But a lot of us, we don't know no better till we get on to the real world and the world knocks us on our head a few times. All right. Number 7, personal, personal and sleep hygiene is important to your well-being. Okay. Being clean and looking your best helps with self-esteem. All right. When you look good, I mean, yeah, when you look good, you feel good. All right. And that doesn't mean that you need to try to impress anybody. But when you feel good from within, when you look good and you satisfy yourself by the way that you look, you naturally feel good, regardless of what anybody else thinks about you. All right. Remember, healthy narcissism. All right. Personal hygiene is needed to keep you physically healthy and disease free. Sleep hygiene is establishing healthy practices that allow you to get good rest, which is important and vital for everybody. Healthy brain and emotional function. Okay, we all need a good night's rest. We all need that. Some of us don't need the stereotypical 7 hours of rest. Some of us don't all need that, but we all need um, certain levels or hours of sleep. All right. Try not to eat at least 3 hours before bed or going to sleep or rest. At least an hour before bed. I'm sorry, I said eat. At least an hour before bed, put away all electronics devices and any screens, all of that. Okay. The reason for that is because those screens produce, if you don't know this, it produces like a blue light that stimulates your mind to think that it's still daytime. So put away your electronics and try not to be in front of a screen an hour before your bedtime so that way your mind can settle down and you could go to bed easier. Okay. And try to put your phone away from your bed, you know. That's something I struggle with. That's something that we all naturally do, right? Our phone is right next to us, right? Um, but yeah, try to, eliminate that as much as possible. Meditate, yoga, or stretching to help relax the mind and the body. Number 8, keep and maintain a clean and tidy environment. Your room or space is a reflection of you. If you have a dirty room, dirty space, that's a reflection of you. I've been there in my life with that. It does not feel nice. It does not feel good to come home and you haven't cleaned up the way you should. All right, because that causes clutter. And if there's clutter in your space and in your reality, there's clutter in your mind. All right. When there's chaos on the outside, there may be chaos going on in the inside. All right. Having a clean space creates a sense of peace. All right. Don't you feel a little bit more at peace when you come home to a clean home? You know what I mean? Everything's where it should be. You're not having to look for nothing. Having a clean space is important to having a clean inner space, internal space. Okay. Your mind, body, soul, and spirit. All righty. Number 9. And this will be the last one. All right, number 9. This is kind of, I guess, a more of a personal suggestion, but I do find that this is very helpful, and I would suggest this to everybody, anybody in life. Keep a journal. Keep a journal. Keep a journal. Writing down your thoughts, feelings, and ideas are very important to keep a record of, so you can see progress in your life. I myself have a journal. Um, and I've been loving it. Now, over the course of my life, I couldn't say I've not necessarily had like a physical journal where I would write, but I've always had like a journal in my phone or a note-taking app where I would write down my notes. And there's been a few times where I lost that app or that app um went down, meaning it like they deleted the app or whatever happened to the app doesn't exist anymore. I lost a lot of like music, poetry, ideas, and for some time that kind of um discouraged me from like writing or keeping stuff down. But I started to get back into it over the past like several years of my life. Maybe it started getting back into it, maybe 2016. Yeah. And then now within like the past um maybe going on for mm, I would say like 8 months now. I've been keeping a journal, a written journal, and I've been loving that. I still keep a digital note-taking journal to keep my thoughts down, so that way, no matter what platform, I get an app that I can use cross-platform. So whether I'm on Android or iPhone or on a computer, I can pull up my notes anywhere that I'm at, so it's easily accessible. But it's been very healthy for me to actually physically write down my thoughts. Um, yeah, a lot of people don't write physically write like that anymore. You know, um, a lot of people don't even know how to do cursive anymore. And to be honest with you, I haven't practiced cursive in some while. I may struggle with, writing the cursive myself. But having a journal really has been helping me getting my thoughts, getting my ideas out, helping me to evaluate my thoughts and ideas. Because when I see it on paper, I'm able to dissect it more, especially me being excuse me, a philosopher. It helps me work out my thoughts instead of just going around and around in a circle in my own mind. Alrighty. So this has been lesson number 5 in healthy lifestyles with Coach Klassik. Now, remember with what I said that having healthy lifestyles, everybody isn't perfect. Okay. I want to know nobody's perfect. I want to say everybody. Um, not everybody, but nobody's perfect. Okay. So having healthy lifestyles sometimes takes time to build. Okay. Consistency is always key. You must have the mindset for it, and you may have the will and the want to do these things. And even if you do have the want, sometimes the will may not be there. Okay. And if the will isn't there, still keep the want. Because even sometimes in my own life, like for instance, eating healthier, the want is there. The want is there. The will may not be as strong, but the want is there. All right. So I feel like for myself, as long as I still know that I want to do that, I want to be better, I want to be better, that always keeps the door open for me for it to just finally one day for me just to be like, you know what? I'm going cold turkey in this thing. I'm being consistent. I don't care what happens. I don't care how hard it is. I'm 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 gonna do this thing for real. So even if your will isn't as strong, always keep the want. Always keep wanting to do better. Because as soon as you stop wanting to do better, that's when it's like you just give up. You know what I mean? So always remember having healthy lifestyles takes time, takes practice, takes consistency. Um, always give yourself grace, meaning don't beat yourself up if you have a bad day. Okay, we all have days where we fall short on being our best selves. Alrighty? Alrighty. Thank you for tuning in. And as always, have fun, stay safe, and always be yourself.